Welcome to the Massage Therapy Podcast. I'm Heather Rivers, registered massage therapist.
And I'm Nicole Andrews, registered massage therapist and contemporary medical acupuncturist.
We're colleagues with almost 13 years of combined experience and small business owners who have a passion for health and wellness. So grab your cup of tea, kick up your feet, and enjoy today's episode.
Hey guys, welcome back to a very, very special episode. Today we are celebrating Mother's Day.
Yay, moms!
Yeah, we've invited another RMT and mom, and who is also a soon-to-be mom for the second time, Erika. You all know Nicole is a mom and an RMT. So we got two moms and then little old me on this podcast.
Yay! You're a dog mom. It counts.
Yes.
Yeah, it counts.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Erika, for joining us.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So we're going to kick it off and let's start off with the kiddos. How old's your first one and how far along are you right now?
So my daughter Hayden is coming up on 3.5 this month on the 15th. She's a handful, but in a good way. And I'm currently just over 7.5 months pregnant. I'm due June 17th. So
Exciting.
that's very exciting. Yeah.
Perfect. So do you want to give us maybe everybody a bit of a background as your life as an RMT? Where'd you graduate from?
Well, I went to school for massage at Sutherland Chan with Miss Heather Rivers. And that's where we met, actually. So that was the 1-year accelerated program or bridge program, as they called it, for kinesiology graduates or other health science graduates. So we did basically 1 calendar year instead of 2 school years. So that was an intense, I think, 10 weeks over the summertime, and then joined in with the second year students. So that was fun. But it was really good. All our teachers were really good. Everyone was like really helpful for like getting us on track for catching up with everybody and getting our hands-on experience up to par, because we're like, I've never touched a human before. Not in a professional capacity anyway. And so it was good. It was really intense, but got us out in the working field sooner and saved me some time and money, I guess.
Yes.
And then felt like my kin degree wasn't a complete waste of time then.
Here you go. So where did you do your kin degree at?
I did my kinesiology degree at Western. At the time was the University of Western Ontario. Now it's Western University Canada, which...
Oh, I didn't even know that change happened.
My opinion makes no sense. It's not in Western Canada, but whatever.
Oh, gosh.
UWO is no more. Yeah, so I did a 4 years honors Bachelor of Science specialization in kinesiology. Sounds impressive, but if I could do it, it's not that impressive.
It's a mouthful, and it is impressive.
It is impressive. You earned it.
Yeah.
Well, so then after school, you give us kind of a quick rundown of, where did you jump in and work?
So right out of getting my registration, I started working part-time at a salon that I actually used to get my hair done at. They were looking to kind of expand what they had going on as far as treatments and stuff. They had a couple estheticians that did like manis and pedis and stuff like that, but they wanted to kind of expand. So I started off like once or twice a week, just going in for a few hours to do some massages. And that was good. And I got my hair done for free while I worked there. So that was fun. And I also started work like a couple months after I got my registration, started working at 2 physiotherapy clinics. They were sister clinics, so they're like run under the same umbrella, just 2 locations. For like a family member of a family member, kind of got my foot in the door as far as like interview and getting into that. So that was good. They were always looking for more RMTs. So worked there for 2.5 years. Really liked it. Had lots of good experience, lots of interesting cases. I got to work alongside the physiotherapists and stuff, and they would refer people to me and I would refer people to them. And so that was a really good kind of back and forth relationship that way. And then I wasn't really looking for anything, but then my father-in-law found a job posting for a nice big spa and was like, hey, a few of our friends have been here. You should go check it out. I'm like, I'm happy where I am, or I'm not unhappy where I am. And then I was like, whatever, I'll just send in my resume and see what happens. And then they called me in for an interview, and I got there and was like, oh, this place is gorgeous. I need to work, I need to work here.
You were seduced.
I was seduced by the tranquility. So then I started working at that spa, and I've been there since. So I've been there about 4.5 years now. So switched from my 3 part-time gigs to just working full-time at the spa. And yeah, it was, I guess, kind of a match made in heaven. It's just kind of where I wanted to be. And then we ended up moving closer to the spa because I was about 45-minute drive from where we were living when I started there. And now I'm 9 minutes away.
Awesome. I have a similar commute. It's the best.
Yes, we love a short commute. Yeah. Nicole and I are only about 5 to 7 minutes away from our clinic as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It makes a big difference in your daily life, not having to drive so far. I mean, massage can be draining, even in the best of environments. It can still be kind of draining on your psyche or draining on your physical being, and having a long drive at the end of that day is not always fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So that's been a bit of a journey. You've seen different clinics in different ways that they can be run, which is amazing. And so when I met Nicole and knew Erika, Erika had said, we've known each other quite a while now, coming up 7 or 8 years. 8 years?
8 years. Yeah.
8 years soon. And just both being moms. Erika, again, she said she has a 3-year-old currently. Nicole, how old? A year and a half now?
Jack just turned 2.
Just turned 2. Oh my gosh, I'm behind the time.
That's all good. Yeah, Jack just turned 2.
Yeah. So I just wanted, my idea was Mother's Day episode, 2 RMTs, 2 moms. And I just wanted to get to know more about what it's like to be an RMT, go through the pregnancy process, be a mom for the first time while also being an RMT, running your own business or whatever it is. As a only dog mom, I find it quite interesting. Yeah. Let's start, Erika. We wanted to get your kind of take on the whole industry when they think of sometimes working in a spa as an RMT has this kind of sometimes negative connotation, as well as I think the whole relaxation part of or relaxation massage gets lumped into this and this negative connotation and maybe even looked down on. And we just kind of were curious if you wanted to weigh in on that as somebody that's seen multiple sides.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a difference in the mentality of people coming into a physio clinic versus coming into a spa. As to what they're looking for the most part. Sometimes I do get people at the spa that are like, I'm an avid runner. My hamstrings are super tight. I just want you to focus on there and get right in there. And I don't want to do any of this relaxation stuff. My wife dragged me here. Okay. But then I still end up doing usually a lot of relaxation techniques, and they're like, wow, that was amazing. I'm like, yeah, well, you were relaxed. So it's amazing what you can accomplish in the deeper tissues once you're actually relaxed. You do definitely get some people that are like, I just want to come in and relax. And then you actually end up fixing stuff for them. And they're like, oh, this is amazing. And then you get the other side of it where people are like, oh, I just want you to fix this. Don't bother trying to relax me. And then they do get relaxed and they're like, oh, that was amazing. So I'm basically doing the same thing, just they think they're getting what they asked for. Even.
Absolutely. Grin and nod. And it's good that you make that point, because I think a lot of people don't realize that people do go to spas and ask for quote unquote the therapeutic relaxation, but people do. They just maybe like the environment, or they're dragged there by a family member or spouse. But you do get that. I think a lot of people don't realize you see that in a spa. It's good to mention.
Yeah. So I've seen some pretty intense injuries and stuff still at the spa, or treating special cases. Sometimes I see a lot of pregnant women at the spa, so there's definitely adjustments you have to make for that outside of a regular relaxation massage, quote unquote.
Yes.
I know, we still see lots of interesting things. There definitely is people that come just for they just want to chill out. They want to forget the world. They're escaping the city. They're, you know, people come just to relax from getting away from work. People come as an escape from their home life, or, you know, they're a healing weekend after a traumatic experience or loss of a loved one or whatever. There's all kinds of things that people come for treatment to resolve, I guess.
Do you find that as an RMT working at the spa, there's like a different, say, actual work vibe for you versus working at those like physio clinics? Like, do you find there's different pressures put on you, or do you find it's kind of the same? Like,
it's definitely more emphasis put on like customer service at the spa, like making sure they're super happy with their treatment, that they feel they've gotten out what they've asked for, versus at like a clinic, someone might say, I want to work on this and this and this, and you can kind of more get them to see like, well, we should be working on this. And you're more apt to be able to convince them of that when they know they're going to see you multiple times as well. Whereas at the spa, like I'll see someone once and I probably won't ever see them again unless like they come back the next year. It's like an annual thing they do. They do a spa day with like Mother Daughter Spa Day once a year or whatever. And they happen to get me again. Or sometimes people request you. But again, it's not like a treatment plan. It's like, oh, I get to see you again. Yay, I recognize that face. But I'm not like working on something consistently with them. So yeah, it's definitely kind of a different vibe versus working at a clinic. But I don't know, I kind of like the whole vibe. You know, I come in, I do my treatments, I do my paperwork, I go home. I don't have to think about anything else. I don't have to do advertising. I don't have to, you know, worry about bookings. And at the spa, like we're actually employees, which is nice. So like, even if like it's rare, but even if there is a cancellation from like weather, sometimes people don't show up because there's a snowstorm, or they don't want to drive the hour and a half from the city in the snowstorm. But if we do happen to get cancellations, I still get paid, which is nice. I just go, you know, stock linens or fill little cups with oils and stuff for the treatments or the body scrubs or whatever. Or sometimes they'll end up just filling your time with, you know, someone who's already there. Like, oh, would you like a foot treatment, or would you like a body scrub? And we'll fill your time in. All right. Or we do training. Yeah. Learn a new modality or a new treatment while you have some spare time. Sometimes you get to be the body, which is super nice. Perk. Surprise in the middle of your day. Like, hey, do you want to be the body for a new esthetician to practice on? Yes, I do.
That is a definite yes.
Yeah.
So when you see maybe like a mix of people in a day that do, like you say, come in and are like, I just want to relax, I don't have anything to work on, or they just want that focus on that hamstring. Do you like that mix in the day? Do you kind of wish you would saw all the people that want relaxation in one day? Or,
you know, it's funny. For some reason, it usually works out that like I'll get like all the same thing for the day. Like it's so bizarre. Like one day I'll have all people who have shoulder pain, and like another day I'll have all people who have knee pain, whether it's like an injury or knee replacement or whatever, like a whole day of knees. And it's like, okay, weird. Or like a whole day of low back injuries. It's so funny. So but some days do vary. Like I do mostly do massage for my day, but I do some of the other treatments at the spa as well. So I do like some body scrubs and wraps and like foot treatment and hand treatments and whatever. So usually I'll have like 5 or 6 massages and like 1, maybe 2 other smaller treatments, depending on how the day works out. Usually I have like 6 hours of treatment total, whether those are half hour, 90-minute, 60-minute massages, half-hour foot treatment, 45-minute wrap kind of thing. Total, usually about 6 hours of treating time. So I get a little bit of variety, which is nice. So it kind of keeps it fresh and I don't get too bored. But it's really fast-paced too. Like usually like a typical day would be like 3 treatments, then you're like half hour for lunch, and then 3 treatments and then home. So like it just goes by fast.
I feel like it's that irony that a spa day for an RMT is fast paced when your job is to slow it down for all your clients.
Yeah. Like, and we have 15 minutes between each treatment, but really it's like 5, because by the time you get the person down to the room, your treatment time starts once you get to the room. So if they have to go pee, or they want to finish their coffee, or they want to whatever, or you get this little old lady and you're on the complete other side of the spa and it takes 10 minutes to walk to the room.
Oh gosh.
You can't cut that out of their treatment time. They've paid a lot of money to be there.
Yeah.
So you just kind of try and go really fast between treatments sometimes. Sometimes the linens just get stowed under the bed instead of all the way to the laundry holding. So
Yeah.
You have to do what you have to do, right?
That is where they get stored at our clinic all the time. They're just always under the table. That's just
In a
their
lunch
place.
bag under the table.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of room. So did you always think when we were in school that the spa was the direction that you wanted to go?
Nope. No, originally I was like sports and that's it, and gonna work at like a sports injury clinic. I don't know why everyone wants to do that. It seems to be everyone's goal is
It does.
work on athletes and whatever. But you see a lot of like varying cases and injuries and stuff with just the general population. Like you don't have to be an athlete to wreck your knee or your back or your shoulder or whatever. Like even at the clinics, like I saw a few athletes because it was like a physio multidisciplinary clinic, and we did see a few athletes quite often. But I saw post-op like for knee replacements and hip replacements, frozen shoulders. I had an interesting case where there was a guy who had a big tumor removed from his hamstring, and there's a whole lot of scar tissue from the surgery itself. And he had like dropped foot because they had like nicked a nerve, and he was having all kinds of issues, and he'd been working with the physios for like a year and hadn't really seen much progress. And they're like, well, try massage. And then I really ended up helping him. It was one of my first times after doing our cupping course, Heather and I did. I got to actually see what happens when you do cupping. So I actually like got to release all that scar tissue, and he started to get like tingling in his foot. And then I was like, oh, that's so exciting. That's actually really good. That means the nerves are coming back. Like it might feel crummy right now, but that there's any feeling is a good sign. And he eventually got back to like almost full like use of his foot and everything. So it was really cool.
That's amazing. That's an amazing story.
Yeah. Nothing to do with athletics. It was just a really cool case. So yeah, I've seen lots of cool stuff, and like I do some private clients on the side as well, like mostly like friends of friends or like friends of family or extended family and stuff like that. And like I have this one lady I do cupping on as well. She had double mastectomy, reconstructive surgery. So again, like super intense scar tissue everywhere. And we've made a lot of progress. I started actually with just using the facial bell cups on her because she was so sensitive. Mm-hmm. And now we're getting into like using the actual like full suction cups, and it's intense, and she hates me during the treatment. But she sees the difference. She's got a lot more range through her shoulders, and she's a lot more comfortable more of the time, where like she doesn't feel like she's so bound up all the time. And she's got like a lot less like surface sensitivity, because everything hurt, like clothes hurt to just touch her. Like she couldn't wear a bra. Now she can wear a bra without, like, she still doesn't wear like underwire bra, but like she can wear a bra that actually is pushing on her tissue without being in pain. So it's really cool.
That's amazing. Those are some great stories for sure. Let's get into now back 2 years ago for you, Nicole, and 3 years and a little
whatever
bit whatever months we're at now. You said you're 7 months, so a little while ago. Really, let's talk about that first trimester as an RMT, and how do you navigate that with, morning sickness, the nausea, the aches, the pains, the tiredness, as well as dealing with clients. You two just dish on that.
Well, I was already at the spa when I for a few months before I got pregnant with my daughter. So I wasn't like seeing regular clients there so much. Like some of my private clients kind of noticed like, you look a little thick. What's going on there? But I mean, for like day to day at the spa, like I've never seen them before. So like they would just be like, oh, you're not so fit, I guess.
Yeah. That first trimester is so awkward with that.
You go from like going in at your waist to just being kind of thick throughout, or you just feel bloated all the time. And it was more colleagues that like, once I announced I was pregnant, my colleagues were like, I thought you were looking a little thick there, but I wasn't going to say anything.
Yep.
But I was actually really lucky as far as like morning sickness and stuff. Like first time with my daughter, didn't really have morning sickness. Like I might have been sick to my stomach like half a dozen times total, and none of which happened at work. And I would just feel nauseous when I was hungry. So I just always have snacks ready at all times. In my speedy 15 minutes between, I'd shove a granola bar in my face.
Yep.
And then just trying to squeeze in pee breaks more often.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
But not really any issues like with like during treatments and stuff. Like I was able to get through treatments without much issue. One of the treatments I did at the spa, I had to stop doing, and I ended up telling my manager I was pregnant before I was planning on telling her I was pregnant, because the one of the scents in one of the specific treatments I could not could not handle anymore. I was like, you know what, the eucalyptus is not doing it
for me. Yep.
And can I not do that treatment? She's like, oh sure, why? Well, it makes me feel like I'm going to be sick. And she's like, oh, that's weird. Why? I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Stop asking why.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we'll take you off the system for those. No worries.
Yeah.
And then funnily enough, this time that scent didn't bother me. And again, I haven't had any morning sickness, or didn't. I'm past that now. Didn't really have any morning sickness issues this time. Again, just nauseous while hungry. So just always eating.
Yep.
I was super lucky that way, which there's being a large scale spa, there's lots of spa staff, and they're predominantly childbearing age women. So there's usually always at least like 2 or 3 of us pregnant at a time, which I'm sure drives my manager crazy. That she's constantly having to deal with people going on and off mat leave, but that's the nature of the beast. But I know some of my colleagues throughout the years being there who've been pregnant and have to run out of a treatment to go throw up. And it's like, ooh, I couldn't, that's going to be a complaint.
Yep.
Did you ever experience any of that, Nicole?
Very similarly, actually, with Jack. I actually, so funny enough, I opened up the clinic. I got the keys May 1st. I opened up the clinic June 5th or something like that. And by the end of August, I found out I was pregnant. So it was one of those, I had clients coming in, but they didn't really know me quite long enough. I had so many new people. I don't think a whole bunch of them really kind of picked up on it sort of right away. I was lucky. It took me a long time with Jack to really show. And I wasn't sick at all. I think it was maybe maybe half a dozen times I felt sick. And I think the only time I really felt nauseous was late at night. I'd get home from work at 8, 9 p.m. and I'm like, that was too much. 14 hours is too long to be out of the house type of idea. What am I doing to myself? But actually, some fun news is I'm actually currently pregnant now, which, yeah. A fun fact to anyone who's listening and doesn't know, I'm actually 12 weeks as of today along. So a lot of my clients are we have to talk when I get back. So we have to have a conversation. So interestingly enough, this time around, I have been so sick. So very sick. So I found out the Friday before everything got shut down that I was pregnant. So Friday, March 13th, I found out I was pregnant and then on the Monday is when Doug Ford shut the whole province down. So I literally, even if I wanted to, didn't have a chance to tell absolutely anybody. So this whole time I've been off, I've just been managing like feeling nauseous all day long. So it's actually been kind of a godsend that we're not at work, because I don't know how I would have dealt with that with every patient. So I think,
you know what? You might actually be feeling more nauseous and stuff because you're not busy.
And that's, what I was thinking. I'm so used to being active and on my feet, right? And I have a schedule and a routine, and now I'm at home and I have none of that.
Get through it.
Exactly, right? So I'm thinking that's probably part of it. So yeah, it's been interesting first time versus like second time around. It'll be interesting, the reaction of my clients, because like the first time around, honestly, I was probably like, I didn't tell anyone till I was like 22, 23 weeks. I didn't have a boss to tell. And that's when they're like, I was getting a feeling, and I had to wear like a very obvious pregnant like shirt being like, I'm pregnant. And this time around, I'm already in the pregnancy top. I'm already like, yep, it's short, like shirts are too short to first.
Yeah. So. Like I started telling people at work probably at like 8-10 weeks, because like I was already feeling like I was like popping out a little bit, and I was like, oh gosh.
They do say the second time around.
Yeah. Whereas like first time around, like I really didn't have like much of a belly at all till like 5 months.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it's crazy. So it'll be interesting, because I was very much not pregnant when I went off. And I'm going back, and I'm literally like, I'm very much pregnant. So that should ensue some fun comments when I go back. Be like, I did a thing. Well, we were in quarantine. It's
actually happened before quarantine. But
technically it was before quarantine, but I found out during. It is what it is. But I will say it's an interesting thing. It's not something they talk about in school. And I didn't really have anyone to talk about while I was pregnant, because I didn't actually have any colleagues that had really had children, like a few that had children while they were practicing. And that whole, like, how do you tell clients or the reactions you get, because they're like happy for you. Like I have a lot of returning clients that they're happy for you, and then they're like, where do I go?
I had that with my private clients with my daughter. They're like, so but you're not going to be working? And I took my full year, so they were all like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do for a year?
So because you're an employee at the spa, did you get mat leave for the whole year?
Yeah, so like they don't top us up or anything at the spa, but like I pay into EI and everything through the spa, so I qualify for like the just regular mat leave coverage. So yeah, I took my full year with Hayden, planning on taking a year again this time.
That's awesome.
Although it's turned out to be a little pre mat leave.
Yeah.
Which, you know what, at the end of the day is probably not a bad thing, considering I was much bigger already. I was like, I don't know, I'm going to work till like 35, 36, 37 weeks, whatever I end up doing. So yeah. So with Hayden, I worked till 37 weeks.
Yeah. So with my son, the plan was to work till 38 weeks. And then I had some blood pressure issues that kind of got a little bit out of control near the end. So I went off at 37 weeks, and he was born at 37 weeks, 5 days. So nice. I wouldn't have even made it to what I was going to take for mat leave. And like everyone said, it's because you relax. I relaxed for 5 minutes on the couch, and that day contraction started. So of course, how it goes. And a lot of RMTs vary on like when they go off. Like some work like literally till like the day they're in labor and go off. And some are like, I'm going off at, 36, 35 weeks. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So with Hayden, I plan on going off at 37 weeks, and that's what I did. And then she was born 2 days early. So I basically had like almost 3 weeks off, which was nice, to get kind of prepared and make sure everything was in place and whatever. My plan this time was to go off at like 35 weeks, like take my vacation time at 35 weeks and then go on mat leave at like 37 weeks. But I'm already off.
Preparing.
And it's pretty definite at this point. I won't be going back to work before I would be going on mat leave anyways. Because I'm pretty sure like the spa has put out like they may tentatively open some of their operations at the beginning of June. which would have been after I would have been off anyways, but probably not treatments until at least till the CMTO comes out and says that RMTs are allowed to start working again, because they're not going to like have just the estheticians work and not the RMTs. And they might be open just for like guests to come and stay, but not treatments. So I won't be going back to work regardless.
You are off now. That's fantastic.
I'm officially off.
So I'm counting this as the mat leave I didn't get with my son, because I only took 2.5 months off after I had my son.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it didn't take very long. Lots of circumstances. My husband and I decided to buy a house. So he decided to go on pat leave and I decided to go back to work so that we could show the bank that I still had a job and made money and stuff. So he actually took like a full parental leave, which was nice for him. So I grew a human, birthed a human, took 2.5 months off, and he took like a solid, I don't know, what did they get? 40 something, 35 weeks. He took like the whole entire time. Yeah. He took the whole 35 weeks. So that was nice for him.
You got the maternity leave, he got the parental leave.
Yeah. So this time around, I'm still going to have to figure that whole thing out, but I'm definitely taking more than 2.5 months. Sorry, clients, I'm not coming back that soon this time. So this time off now is my mat leave that I didn't get with my son when he was little. So I'm taking it taking it now one-on-one time. So thank you, COVID, for that. Catch up 2 years later. Thanks.
Two is such a great age, though, too. Like they're just starting to get really fun at that age. Like really starting to be able to teach them stuff, and like they're into playing and pretend and stuff like that.
He is silly. He's a silly boy, and like
they try to make you laugh and.
So that's the thing he has now. He runs behind something and then tries to like scare you to make you laugh, or he comes over and he'll go tickle, 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 like trying to tickle you. It's really funny. So that's been really fun.
Does he know he's going to be a big brother?
Yes, he does. So we started being like, where's the baby? Are you going to be a big brother? So, but he started doing the thing where we go, where's the baby? And he points to himself. And we're like, yes, you're a baby. Well, not really, but okay. And then we're like, mommy has a baby in her belly. So now when we say, where's the baby? He points to his belly. So we're like, we're making progress on like the whole, like,
hasn't quite
baby.
Got it yet, but
but he'll be like, baby. And I'm like, yeah. And then he thinks we're talking about him for sure still. So
I'm always the baby.
Yeah. Well, I do still call him baby because he's the only one. And so
we still call Hayden baby girl.
Yeah.
3.5 almost.
They'll always be your baby, right?
I know. That's what we try to tell her. And now she's like, I'm not a baby. I'm a big girl. Like, yes, but you're my baby.
What's it like being pregnant? And you're both, again, at different stages, Nicole in the first, or coming out of the first trimester, Erika in your third. What's it been like during this time with appointments and everything?
So weird.
Very strange compared to the first, right? My husband wasn't allowed to come with me to our first ultrasound, which was, it was kind of like, I can't say it was sad, but it was sort of like, I don't know. It kind of
bizarre.
And when you showed up and you're there and you don't look pregnant or anything, they ask you a trillion questions and you walk in and they stand like 10 feet away from you, like you have something. And then, you know what I mean? Like it felt very hands off, and I don't know. It was very distant, which is odd because I felt like the first time around you're pregnant, everyone's like, oh, you're so, you know what I mean? Now they're like, okay, so do you have a mask? Are you coughing? And there's just like, no.
Very clinical.
So that was interesting. Devin not being there really kind of sucked. I do have my 13-week, 14-week where they do that fetal scan next week, and they're still not allowing partners or spouses even in the building. So I actually go completely alone. So that's sort of like sucky. You were hoping that like the anatomy scan by like 20 weeks, maybe he'll be able to be let in.
Oh gosh. Hopefully,
like hopefully by then he can. Either way, we get them put on, like the images put on a little stick. It's very different. Like by this point, I'd already physically heard the heartbeat. With my doctor, she like very early on used the Doppler and found it, whereas I haven't physically heard a heartbeat yet. So it's very strange. You go to give blood and they're like in full out gear, like shield and stuff. So it feels very hands off, which is an interesting concept when you're pregnant, because usually people are literally all over you and you're like, please stop touching me.
Yeah.
Just get away out of my, stop hugging me, like just stop. So there's been none of that. So that's been interesting.
Yeah. It's been really weird, like being like at the stage now where like I have an obvious belly, like, and we haven't seen anybody. So like no one's been like reaching for my belly. It's like, which is kind of nice in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, on the other hand, like it would be nice if like my mom could touch my belly.
Yeah.
Baby moving, or like close friends and stuff. If they could touch my belly and stuff, that would be nice. But Hayden's getting lots of belly time. She talks to baby every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had to tell all our friends like over the phone, which the first time we made an effort to tell everybody in person. So that was interesting. We still told our parents in person. At that point, there still wasn't like that rule where you couldn't have people, you know what I mean? Like there was that in between gray time where you could still see people, but like things were all getting shut down. So when we found out, and within like 48 hours, we started telling people, because we knew we could still see them because it shut down on the Monday. So that weekend we saw everyone we could see. I'm like, hopefully this is like the real deal and that pregnancy test wasn't wrong. Exactly. So that was interesting. And even with this, like, none of my friends have seen me this time around. So by the time they see me, I'm going to be pretty obviously pregnant too. So like, you get really isolated. Yeah. Being a mom is actually something that's quite isolating in its own. And then being a pregnant mom, especially at the state you're at, where you're like, I'm just going to stay home. And on top of that, literally being in isolation, it can get pretty difficult. You're like, I'm going insane.
Well, like even like my husband's doing all the grocery shopping and stuff. Cause like, it was so funny. Like the first week this was like all happening, he's like, oh well, like it's not that big a deal. And then like when the province like shut down, he's like, oh, you're not going anywhere.
Yep.
Okay. So like I literally haven't left the house except for doctor's appointments.
Yep. I'm in the same boat. My husband goes everywhere. I go absolutely no place.
Well, it's kind of scary because like they
don't know.
They just don't know, right? Like don't know if I got it, if it would transfer to baby in utero or not, or if I got it close enough to giving birth, if I would transfer it during birth, or you know what the long-term effects are. Like what if it affects the development of the baby? You don't know. Like, especially being a respiratory heavy thing, like the lungs are like one of the last things to fully develop. Like, don't know if that would be affected or not, right? Like, what if for moms who get it, what if babies are born with like severe asthma or something, like something debilitating for the rest of their life? We don't know. And that's the scary part.
Yeah, and they don't have any answers. So that's something that's been interesting too. Like every doctor's appointment or all of that, they're like, well, stay healthy. Like, we don't know. I was actually pregnant too, actually with Jack when Zika was like rampant everywhere. So it was like, so everyone's like, in the summer I got pregnant. So everyone's like, stay away, use all the like bug repellent. And I was like, oh my gosh. So this time around, I'm like, I would get pregnant during like the next thing that people don't know anything about. Like really scary. I also means I don't get a baby moon for the second time around, which was my stipulation with having a second child. I was like, I'm getting a baby moon because the first time I missed it because all the tropical places were not allowed to go to. So I'm like, I'm missing it again. Like, how is this happening to me? I'm never going on vacation like that.
Oh my gosh.
The cards. So
well, maybe you guys can get like a little like cottage, the two of you, over the summer.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking. If like they allow us to go to the Muskokas, but so we'll see how it goes.
Exotic.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Like, I'm sure because you plan to have gone back, like still be at work and then go on mat leave. It's an interesting time to be like a massage therapist and be a mother and be pregnant and then not be able to go to work. And for me, going back, it's an interesting, like, how does that look? Like when they first open up, do I jump back right on in? How do I protect myself? Because again, I'm exposing myself to the general public in a way that a lot of people don't. So it's not just like their safety that we're all talking about.
Yeah.
It's my own, which is another reason I'm announcing on this podcast that I'm pregnant, because I do have quite a few clients that listen. I was telling Heather this, the minute I show up, I'm going to be wearing like a very obvious, like stretchy spandex cotton dress and being like, something happened. So there's no questions. And people understand why I'm so diligent on whatever measures we're taking or have to take, like the screening process, and if we have to wear masks or gloves or whatever that looks like. Why I'm so serious about it, because it is like, it's sort of
I'm sure all your clients will understand as well, especially being like regular clients, right?
Yes.
Like,
and they all kind of had, I think, an inkling that we were trying. So
like maybe a time you don't take on anyone new.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And
all the new people go to Heather.
We'll all be going to Heather. That's our plan. I was just telling her that she needs to let me know what hours she's going to work and stuff, because I'm going off at the busiest time of year. I'm going off, it'll be like I'm due in November. So, and I'll be not working my normal hours in October at all, because that last month, like, I'm sure you had this too. I was so glad that I had gone out on my own, because I was totally in control. So instead of doing like 5-6 hours a day, I was doing like 3.5, and I was taking like a 2-hour lunch break so I could nap on the massage table for 45 minutes. And I was taking half an hour breaks between people so I could eat and pee and waddle up and down the hall at my own pace and whatever. So even back when we get back right into it, when it's crazy in the fall, like I'm not going to be doing my normal hours. So although it seems like a lot of RMTs are going to be spacing out clients more than normal anyway, so I don't think that'll be odd. So luckily that's not going to be a strange thing for people. But Heather, you're going to be busy. Hopefully you're really ready. I'm abandoning you at the busiest time of year to run the show.
That's okay. I'm up for the challenge. So you guys both just started talking a little bit, and it was always something like curious. And I've heard from clients too, them feeling guilty coming and seeing somebody to get a massage when they are visibly very pregnant or in that third trimester. Any like interesting interactions with any clients like that, or things you had to do? Like,
like at the spa, we were pretty lucky. They have hydraulic tables in every room now. So that was a huge help for like, because there's such a variance of people that you get. And especially like, I don't know who I'm getting until I go pick them up, like what kind of like body type they are. But then being able to just like lower the table once they're on is like, that's key. Or just like even throughout the treatment, like some things, once you start getting a big belly, some things are easier to do with the table up higher, and some things are easier to do with the table up lowered. So you're not having to bend over as much for like saying doing like arms and hands. It's nice to be able to bring the table up a bit so you're not like bent over. Because you're not putting a lot of pressure there, so it's not like you can lean into it. You're just bent over holding yourself up, which is awkward and painful for your back when you've got an extra 25 pounds pulling on your back. So that was really nice. And I did definitely, like Heather said, like had people feel like guilty coming to see me, like this big pregnant belly coming to pick them up in the waiting room, and they're like, oh my gosh, honey, like you need a break. I'll be fine, don't worry. Like I wouldn't be working if I didn't want to be working. Don't worry.
Exactly. It passes the time. That last month is 500 days long, so it's nice to pass the time. When you're talking about moving the table up, I actually would just sit down. So I have like a stool that goes up and down. So I learned really well how to do things with my elbow, like a hamstring or a calf sitting, and like get in their calf while I sat. I've made up some like new type of techniques to be able to not have to like lean straight over, because one, it hurts your back, and two, your stomach is like resting on them. So and I'm not like a very tall person. I'm like 5'2", like I'm pretty short torsoed. So like he was like right there the whole time, which is also interesting, because that technique, when you're standing at the top of their head and you put your hands, you go all the way down their back, like and back. I had to start like standing off to the side and doing one side at a time, because I'd lean over and my stomach's resting on the back of their head, and you're like, that's not appropriate. You can't do that anymore either. So I actually did have a funny story. I was sitting doing someone's arms and hands. So I had the arm out across the side of the table and sort of resting like on my side. So I was like massaging them, and Jack did kick and they felt it like in their forearm. And I'm like, sorry about that. He's just saying hello.
Oh gosh.
So they liked that. So that was funny, but people definitely feel guilty. People definitely sort of like sit down or don't rush, or do you need a snack? Like they start being like, do you need some water? Like, don't, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's fine. I promise I'm looking after myself. Like, don't worry about me. It's interesting to see clients like reactions because I just opened the clinic. I would have like brand new clients come in. So I would have someone email me and be like, are you taking new clients? And it's one of those things like saying like, no. I mean, at the very end, I started being like, yes, but I'm going off soon. But I'd be like, no, like, yeah, I definitely am like new, blah, blah, blah. And they'd come in and they're like, oh my gosh, right? Like, oh, you're like 6 months, 7 months pregnant. And it's like, yeah, I'm still working though for another like 2 months, which is enough time to establish like a treatment plan or probably resolve what you're looking for, at least partly. And then I can send you to someone else. But yeah, it was always a funny face reaction because they're like, do I say something? Do I not? And they're just like staring at you being like, please address the elephant in the room right now.
Now, do you find, since, both of you have older kids now and you treated while pregnant through all stages of pregnancy with them, do you find that they are responsive to touch? Are they responsive to maybe the music that you would have had in that room if you're playing it at home? Has there been anything that you've picked out?
Hayden was definitely a very chill baby. So I think I attribute that to rocking back and forth all day, massaging,
yes.
being in a nice, like me being relaxed and like, the nice tranquil room, lights are dim, nice soft music, wonderful smells. Like I had a very relaxed work environment while pregnant. I guess like she was always exposed to like the nice music and stuff too. Yeah, she was just very chill, like such a calm baby, like slept really well. I mean, she's not calm now, but
you have a three-nager on your hands.
What 3-year-old is?
Yeah.
But she really likes massage. Like anytime I have my table out, like after Auntie Heather comes over for an exchange, she says, "My turn. My turn for a massage. I need a massage."
That's so cute.
She loves to go over and sneak that oil, get a lid on her hands, and come over and help. Yeah. It's very cute. It's very cute. I'm always for it. I'm like, yep, you go at it, baby girl.
That's so cute.
Tiny little hands added to your treatment.
That's awesome.
How aware is Jack of what you do and everything?
He likes it when I like rub his back or his feet or his legs. He's a very like hands-on, like touchy kid. And I don't know if that has anything to do with like, cause I'm very hands and touchy just, as a person. So he does it too. So, like he'll come up over to me if I'm sitting somewhere and he'll tap me on the shoulder and be like, okay, mama. And just like, look at me. Like he'll take his hands now and like put them on my cheeks and hold my face and just look at me and be like, okay, mama. Like he's like asking me like, are you all right? Is everything good here? Like, if I'm like not feeling well. So he seems to be
doing his check-ins.
Yeah, his like intuitive piece. He seems to be very like intuitive that way. He also is a very like movement-based kid. Like I rock him to sleep. I'd have to walk him around the house. Like he's always been like that type of kid. And I definitely attribute to the fact that the whole time I was on my feet, like rocking around a table. So he was just slish-sloshed all day long. So, I mean, lots of kids like those types of things, but he's next level. Like he's 2, and at some point I have to break the habit because I'm going to be too round to do it. But I rock him to sleep. He gets rocked to sleep every night still. I mean, not all the way to sleep, but rocked to the point of being like half out of it. So we're going to have to break that habit eventually because at some point he's actually not going to fit on my lap to do that. So sorry, kid. It starts now. Things start getting taken away.
Yep. That older sibling for sure.
Something I found being I don't know, maybe it's just like a working mom in general, is that going back to work was difficult. I find as a small business owner, like if I'm doing the business well, I feel like I'm doing the momming bad, like I'm neglecting it. And if I'm doing the momming well, I feel like I'm totally neglecting like my business or my career responsibility. So it's been an interesting 2 years trying to sort of like figure out that, mitigate it.
That balance. Yeah.
The balance, the work-life mom balance. And I know you're an employee there, but did you have to come back to a certain amount of hours?
No, actually. So they're actually at the spa I work out like really good. Again, probably because they employ predominantly childbearing age women. They've seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
They basically will take whatever you give them. So when I left, I was technically part-time, but I was working full-time hours, just because the way they work it out, like if you're part-time, you work one weekend day a week. If you're full-time, you have to work both weekend days. And I just wasn't willing to give up my full weekends. But you get 2 weekend days off a month. So basically I worked every other Sunday as a part-time and worked like 4 other days. So I'd be like 4 or 5 days a week, like every other week kind of thing. And then when I came back, I only came back like to like actual part-time hours. I came back 3 days a week. And then I added a half day on Tuesdays in the summer because we were putting Hayden in daycare and she was really liking it. So I'm like, well, we'll put her in for another day and I'll work another day. Didn't feel so guilty about it because she was really enjoying it.
Perfect.
But but that was kind of our work-life balance. Like my husband works full-time and he has benefits and I get benefits through him. So I didn't have to be full-time in order to like get benefits at work because I didn't need them. So I just stuck to the part-time hours, which worked well for us. So it was 3 days and then 3.5 days a week before I went off because of all this. Plus some private clients. So like usually another day I would take, like maybe every 2 weeks, I'd take a day to go drive around and see my people. And it was enough for us and enough for me physically. Like the days at the spa are pretty long.
That's awesome.
That
It's good to know that even as an employee at a spa, like you can still have freedom, because we had talked about this, like to be your boss or be your own boss and to have one. And that's what's really awesome about our career in general, is a full-time schedule doesn't necessarily mean 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. Or it doesn't mean it has to be in the Monday to Friday. Like you can do Saturday or Sunday. You can do just evenings when your spouse is home, maybe from work or whatever it is. We get to be really flexible. So that's really awesome.
Like I would have Thursday, Friday, Saturday off in a row. So like we would usually like go to the zoo or something on a Thursday or you know, Heather doesn't work Thursdays, so we would get together with Heather.
Auntie dates.
Absolutely.
No, and they're really good at the spa as well. Like they have quite a few of the like estheticians and RMTs, when their kids get to be school age, they'll do like 5s, 9 till 2s, or like their only full day will be on like the weekend days, so that they can see their kids off to school and pick them up from school or see them off the bus and all that. So they're really good. They're really good that way.
That sounds amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, that's good.
They kind of have to be, again.
Yeah. Female, predominantly childbearing age, they really do have to know that that's their, I guess, employee. No one's going to come work for you if it doesn't work for them. I work around my husband's schedule. Even though he was off for all those weeks, then he took like a job from home, which was really convenient. He now has a job where he travels. So probably every other week he's gone in a hotel for at least a night or two. So I've really had to like mitigate that with my hours. So that's been an interesting haul. But it's been awesome. Like, I don't think I could have done this working at the clinic I was at. Just the environment I was in there, working. I was working 3 nights a week till 8 p.m. And then 2 longer days and then 2 Saturdays. Like, it was a lot. And I don't think I could have been as flexible with my hours there, just because they had 4 RMTs and 2 treatment rooms. So if I couldn't work, they filled it with another RMT. Whereas working on my own, being able to spread clients out when I didn't feel well, or be able to take a half day and make it up on a Saturday because I'm the only person there, you know what I mean, was like really fantastic. And then even going back for Heather, when I had another renter, it was nice just because we could figure out what days worked best for the 2 of us. So I never really felt like I was giving up time. I was just making the time work better for either or. So yeah, I think that's good to note. Like a lot of people feel that being in a job that's not 9 to 5 after you have kids is a bad thing. And I think it's a much better thing. I don't know how parents who both parents work 9 to 5 in the city do it with their children. I don't know how that's a possibility. It's got to be crazy.
Yeah, for sure. This job is really flexible. It doesn't matter what your family life is, your home life is, it can adapt and you can adapt it to what you want it. And as like we said before, as the seasons change in your life, like, before kids, you might, you were working all these hours and then you're able to back off and adjust the schedule as you needed while you have kids or whatever you're dealing in your life. I think this is a great example, this episode, of why massage therapy is a great profession to be in.
Mm-hmm.
For
Absolutely. Sure. Very accommodating. One question I did want to ask Erika, and I don't know if this will send us down like a long rabbit hole or not, but I wanted to ask you, because we did do our segment on relaxation. Do you find, being that you work at a spa, when you tell other RMTs maybe you don't know very well that you work in a spa, do you find you get like a negative sort of, so like, oh, like how was that? Or do you feel like there's like a different light shed on that because of that's the industry you're in?
Not really. I don't really talk to a whole lot of RMTs outside of Heather and now you and the ones I work with. So, yep. I mean, I guess I was probably guilty of before working at the spa, a spa, that's not serious massage. But like I do see a lot of treatment based clients that like come in and they want something worked on. They don't want to just relax. But even the like ones who just do want to relax, like that's an important thing for them. Like whatever they're going through, they need that. Like that's treatment, not to be looked down upon. Like that person needs that, whether it be for mental health or work stress or whatever it is. That's what they need, and that is valid treatment for them. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't really run into it where someone's like, oh, you only do that. But
so then you do feel that you're using like all of the knowledge you took from school and your beautiful degree. You do feel you get to still use it.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like sometimes, like I'll be treating someone at the spa, and we'll get talking about like exactly what's going on with them with their injuries or whatever, and they're almost surprised that like I can hold a conversation about what they're dealing with, and like I know the names of things.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so clients come in with an expectation.
Yeah. And like that I can actually prescribe some remedial exercise and stretches and stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, I never would have thought of doing that or whatever. Like, that's a really good point. My physio never even said that. Like,
you're like, oh yes, I am registered. So yeah,
I'm part of the health profession. I do know some things.
So we know what time it is then. It's RMT time. Erika, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Serenity Now from David's Tea. I was at a baby shower and I got a little sample set as my prize for one of the baby games. And it's all pregnancy safe teas. It's all caffeine free. So, which was perfect because I was already pregnant at the time. I was like, sweet, this is an amazing prize to win. Awesome. So the specific tea is Serenity Now. It's a soothing blend of lavender, strawberry, and hibiscus. And it's a one-way ticket to your happy place.
I love that you had the card.
I know.
You're prepared. That warms my heart.
Fantastic. I love it. How about you, Heather? What are you drinking?
I am drinking David's Tea again, Magic Potion. So it's part of their Halloween lineup. I don't have the card in front of me, but I should have this memorized. It is a caffeine-free as well. It's more of like an herbal and fruit blend. And it has the butterfly pea flowers in it. So when you brew it, it's a blue color. But if you add in some citrus, like a squeeze of lemon, it'll turn an indigo purple. So that's
cool.
Potion. And it's a good one that they actually market for kids because it's caffeine free and there's nothing in there that'll harm them. And they, a little something that makes them smile because they get to see it change color and all of that. And you can drink it hot or cold. It's good both ways. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. What about you, Nicole?
I'm drinking a herbal tea by Celestial. It's wild berry zinger, so no caffeine in it. It's hibiscus and roasted orange peel and blackberry leaves, and it has some chamomile in it. It's delightful, actually. I got a fruit sampler of herbal tea, so because I actually like to make cold iced tea from tea in the summer.
Yeah.
And before I was pregnant, I used to put wine in it.
Make a little sangria.
My like tea and wine love together.
I'm gonna steal that for the summertime when I can have a drink.
It's lovely. You literally brew some tea, let it cool down, put it in the fridge, and then you just put whatever kind of wine you like in it. I usually put some sort of like fruity white to go with it, and then you just put some ice in there, and it's like, yeah, and it just tastes like fruit. It's like a sangria, but you can use any herbal like fruit-based tea. It's delightful.
David's actually had a line, I think it was last summer, in a mojito one, a sangria one. They had tailored to just that. So you were just ahead of the curve.
Nice. Yeah, I got the idea from Steep Tea. They actually sell these big pictures where you actually put the tea in and then it's like a big pitcher so you can make cold tea. So that's where I got the idea from, like a few years back, and it changed my like whole life.
Yep. It's
so
perfect.
One of those loose leaf pitchers.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, there's no way this is meant for like a big picture of hot tea. That doesn't make sense.
No.
And I'm sure they don't actually say anywhere to put wine in it. I don't know where that actually came from. But yeah, I took it that step further. So next summer, I guess. I don't know. Christmas. I'm going to do it at Christmas time. It'll be fun.
There you go. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Erika, for joining us. And thank you both, Erika and Nicole, and sharing your mom wisdoms, and congratulations on your second pregnancies, both of you.
You've been wonderful, Erika.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for hanging out with us today. If you know someone who would enjoy listening as much as you did, please share this link with them. You can also share a screenshot of this episode on your Insta stories and tag @the.mtp. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review or send a voice memo over Anchor. We would love to hear from you. Thank you for being a part of the MTP family. Be kind, be well.